evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another watch list. I am your host, The Option Addict, from www.optionaddict.net. Here to share with you the old weekly watch list, a couple of trade ideas that I'm watching. Now, we all know last week was a pretty rough week. We saw a lot of trends changing. We saw a pretty big rally going on within U.S. markets. And this was something that we've been talking about for a while. It's been lingering out there. We knew it was coming. It's happened. So now we have to discuss exactly how we're going to react and things we're going to watch in the week ahead. So this rally provides a couple good things. I mean, number one, this rally allows us higher prices to short at. So a lot of these stocks that are just completely oversold, they had a nice little rally. They rallied, like for the S&P, for example. We had this nice little movement to the upside, and you can see we're right now banging up against some resistance. No matter how you draw it, you can see that prices are probably going to retreat a little bit. Now, there's some news lingering out there where index futures are slightly up right now, but this week we're going to inevitably head lower, at least as of right now. Some things you want to be watching, though, are going to be crude oil. I mean, crude oil is going to be a major player in that. Also, the dollar as it trades here at its lows, if that happens to start to rally, or if by any chance that breaks through support, that's going to be pretty pivotal. And then also earnings. Every company is going to continue to announce earnings here. We're in the middle of earnings season, so you have to watch out for that. This week we have mild economic data, so nothing really to be too scared about aside from earnings. Earnings are going to be what the market is watching to determine whether they want to buy or whether they want to sell. So being that this rally offers some pretty good retests for us and higher prices to short at and so on and so forth, some things I want you to watch out for this week are bullish divergences, and I want you to watch for volume. Volume is going to be a telltale of whether you're looking at a stock that has potentially bottomed or whether you've got a stock that has got a lot of conviction to the downside. So pay attention to that. I'm also noticing a lot of bullish divergences out there. So as you're going about your analysis, make sure you're watching divergences, volume. Those are going to be some pretty good trading signals, I think, going forward. Now, I've tried to whittle down my list this week to make things pretty easy, pretty clear-cut as far as what I'm looking for. So let's start off with the dips, the rips, the breakouts, and the breakdowns. Alright, now let's venture into some price patterns. I got some really good looking bottoms out there, and we're going to start with BGC, which is General Cable Corporation. I'm going to whittle down here to a 6-month chart. You can see that this thing had 2 consecutive lows here at about 55, and it's broken through short-term resistance, and it's going to retest here a little bit at about $60 per share. If that level holds, this might be a pretty good long opportunity as a stock that has a pretty good chance to head towards its highs. And if you notice here, there's been a lot of accumulation and distribution during this time frame, which I like to see. Next on my list of bottoms is L3 Communications. This one hasn't yet broken out, but what you'll be wanting to watch for is a break above, let's call it 93.5, with some pretty big volume. We've seen it's been picking up here lately, and if that happens, we can expect right about a 8 to 9 point move. Next, one of my favorite trades on the week is LH, Laboratory Corporation. Look at the buying, the accumulation, the volume spikes that have been coming in on this particular rally. It's broken out, so hey, this one offers a pretty good trading signal. Now, the move here, based on the width of the pattern, is pretty small, but you can see that there's a lot of interest heading into earnings, so I think this is going to be one that you want to keep your eyes on. I might take a very small anticipatory trade into earnings just to see how this thing pans out. Next on my list of fantabulous bottoms here is Under Armour, UA, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see exactly what's going on here, but Under Armour's been following this nice steady downward trend line forever. In fact, we talked about this as it broke through support not too long ago. Here it is, it's at a bottom. I think that this little pattern carries this stock right up to these levels, which offers a pretty good buying opportunity here if we see the breakout and we get the volume. Last on my double bottoms is SPN, Superior Energy Services. Now, you notice there's not a lot of energy stocks on my list this week, but I'm keeping an eye on this action. If I see a little bit of a breakout here and a little bit of volume, then I think this stock's got a pretty good chance to test these highs. We'll see how that pans out. Other patterns that I'm watching, GDI, Gardner Denver. You look at this, we've got a nice little symmetrical triangle. Again, earnings coming up here, but as prices have been consolidating here, volatility's been contracting. We know there's going to be probably a pretty good breakout here, so I might go into a strangle position here, maybe taking a trade slightly out of the money. Since the stock's trading at 55, you can probably get one strike out on either side and still get it pretty cheap. Next we're going to look at BRP, and I might want to zoom out for this one as well, but potential head and shoulders forming here. I'm watching this right shoulder. You can see earnings has already happened, so if this stock continues to roll down, this is a pretty good entry point for a reversal pattern. Also, we talked about ICE, Intercontinental Exchange, earlier this week. I'm just making sure it's been reiterated, it's on the radar. One of my other favorite trades heading into this week is Gulf Island Fabrication, GIFI. Yes, right ahead of earnings, but you can't beat a nice little setup like this, taking an anticipatory trade and then adding on the breakout. This one suggests we should see about a 10 to 12 point movement to the downside. Also, I want you to keep an eye on gold, like ABX for example, starting to flag here a little bit. We had a nice little rally to the upside, and prices are pulling back a little bit. My favorite though is RGLD Royal Gold, and you can see this one is just real nice and pretty. If we see a breakout to the upside, this suggests a pretty wild move. Next we're going to look at Deckers. You guys remember the trade a couple weeks ago where we talked about this on the watch list, and boy, it's been a pretty good trade ever since then. It's got a nice little bear flag here to the downside, so wait for a breakdown, and I'm going to venture to guess that this stock is going to test its lows eventually. Also on the radar, a stock that's been talked about in the comments section quite a bit is Big Lots, BIG. This could also be a reversal pattern if prices start to roll over here. Again, take half of your position in an anticipatory fashion and add on the breakout. This one should indicate a pretty big reversal. Also, ATHR, nice little symmetrical triangle just starting to break out. Watch out for earnings. FSLR, still on the radar. Earnings is going to make the stock move one way or the other, so maybe this also might be a strangle consideration. A couple more. We've got ABI, Applied Biosystems. Again, earnings, the triangle, it's going to break. Next is BNI. So transport's looking pretty good, but BNI not looking so good. We got a nice little descending triangle here with support sitting right here at about 92. A break below that, and this stock should make about a 9-point move. Dry ships, also symmetrical triangle, something to keep an eye on. You might want to zoom in here to get a closer look. And you can see here about a 15-point wide triangle depending on how you draw it, but this suggests a pretty big move for the stock. And yeah, we don't have earnings for quite a while here, so we'll see how it pans out. That'll do it for me tonight, folks. Again, it's going to be a wild ride this week with all the earnings announcements coming up. Now that we've gotten this rally out of the way, I'm so much more at ease at some of the picks we've discussed here today. And if you stick to these, it should be a pretty darn profitable week. So that'll do it for me. I'm off to bed. This has been the Option Addict. That's been my watch list. Thanks for watching.
This is where we fight! This is where they die! And these Shield boys! Oh! Remember this day, men, for it will be yours for all time.